Lloyd Beckett, Alice Brown, Basil Brown, Margaret Brown, Samuel Brown, Frank Brown, Maria Brown, Joseph Brown, Eliza Brown, James Brown, William Brown, Mary Brown, Charles Brown, Robert Brown, Lucy Clark, Henry Coquire, David Diggs, James Gant, Jasper Poole, Richard Proctor, Sarah Sims, Maria Sims, James Sims, Hanson Smith, Lucy Whitaker, Moses Whitaker, Samuel Williams, and 13 additional unnamed human beings ranging in age from 2.5 years old to 63. These are the men, women, and children enslaved by founders of Grace Church, Silver Spring. These human beings suffered under the institution of chattel slavery. Please take a moment of silence to honor their lives. Hi, my name is Susan Shulkin, and I'm a founding member of the Reparations Task Force for the Diocese of Washington, as well as leader of the Parish History of Race and Racism team at Grace Episcopal Church in Silver Spring, Maryland. Starting 1 year ago this month, a team of volunteers at Grace began to research the early history of our church from its founding in 1855 through 1875. In a way it's never been done before. We're lucky in that we have what was considered to be a comprehensive history of our church through the 1950s, with an update published in the 1970s. But when our team studied these documents, we quickly realized, not surprisingly, that they centered the experiences of white people in our parish history. In fact, the author of our original history once made it very clear how she felt about the status of enslaved people. In a newsletter for the Montgomery County Historical Society in 1968, she wrote, "There once stood on Hanover Street a large house. An owner in the 1920s related that it contained a small bricked up cellar room with a slit of a window at the top. Fastened to the floor was a ball and chain, probably used to punish recalcitrant slaves." Recalcitrant slave, recalcitrant. Definition: having an obstinately uncooperative attitude, because obviously the proper demeanor for an enslaved person would be passive and cooperative. And this is the person who wrote our original parish history. So our team first established a mission for ourselves to reconsider the history of Grace Church by identifying and centering the consequences of slavery and the contributions of Black Americans in the story we tell ourselves about who we are as a parish. Then we started to work. Some of us dug through the existing archival material that we could find at Grace. Others began scouring census information and digitized newspapers on the internet and consulting with historians who had already done research into the Silver Spring area during this 20-year period, both before and after the Civil War. And one of our members discovered a census of enslaved people in Montgomery County, a census compiled after the Civil War in hopes that enslavers could receive reparations for their lost property. Over time, we compiled and consolidated and rechecked our sources in preparation for sharing our findings with our parish. We shared our first story, where our land came from, this past month at Grace, and also created a visual display, which you see behind me here and on the wall today at the symposium at Calvary Episcopal Church. When we presented the first story to the parish, no one expressed surprise. As a community, we've already journeyed together through the removal of a Confederate battle flag in a stained glass window in 2017 and the vandalism and destruction of a Confederate monument in the parish cemetery days after the murder of George Floyd in 2020. This past weekend, a number of visitors attended a reception in our Undercroft at Grace, and many took time to read the story and look at the exhibits posted on the wall. According to our rector, several of them approached her and said, "This is a great thing that you're doing at your church, to tell the truth about your history. We wish our churches would do the same." So here is your opportunity. If you are interested in learning more about your church's entanglements with race and racism through the years, now is a great time to start. The task force is here for you to offer resources, guidance, and support as you begin this journey.